Hey there, fellow spooky enthusiasts. Welcome to our deep dive into the dark truths behind some of the most famous ghost sightings in history. You know, the kind of stories that make you sleep with the lights on and question if you really heard that creak on the stairs. We're talking about those legendary hauntings, those iconic tales that have been passed down for generations, each retelling adding a new layer of chills. But what if I told you that beneath these bone-chilling stories lay even darker, perhaps even more unsettling truths? Prepare to uncover the chilling realities that lie beneath these eerie tales as we separate fact from fiction. We'll be your guides through the shadowy world of paranormal investigation, where every creaking floorboard and flickering light could be a sign from beyond the veil. So buckle up, grab your EMF reader, or a flashlight if you're lame like Ryan, and get ready to explore the dark side of history. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Okay, let's kick things off with a classic, the Amityville Horror. You know, the drill, creepy house, demonic forces, a family running for their lives in their pajamas. It's practically the blueprint for every haunted house movie ever made. The story goes that in 1974, a man named Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family in their home in Amityville, New York. A year later, the Lutz family moved in only to flee after 28 days, claiming they were terrorized by paranormal activity. Doors slamming shut on their own, green slime oozing from the walls, a demonic pig named Jody staring at them with glowing red eyes. I mean, come on, a demonic pig? That's just rude. But hey, it's a terrifying story, right? It's no wonder it spawned a best-selling book and a whole franchise of horror movies. But as with most things that go bump in the night, the truth might be a little more complicated. Now look, I'm not saying the Lutz family were lying. Maybe they did experience something weird in that house. But there are a few things about their story that make even a skeptic like me raise an eyebrow. For starters, many of their claims, like the demonic pig and the green slime, were never mentioned in the initial police reports or investigations. It's almost like they embellished a bit for dramatic effect. Imagine that. Plus, there have been other families who lived in that same house after the Lutz family, and they reported no paranormal activity whatsoever. It's almost like the house calmed down after its 15 minutes of fame. So, what's the verdict? Well, the Amityville Horror remains one of the most debated paranormal cases in history. Is it a genuine haunting or a clever hoax? I'll let you decide. But personally, I'm leaning towards elaborate real estate scheme. But here's the thing about ghost stories, even if they're not entirely true, they tap into something primal within us. We love to be scared, we crave the thrill of the unknown. It's like that feeling you get when you're home alone at night and you think you hear a noise, and once that seed of doubt is planted, it can be hard to shake off. Suddenly, every creak of the floorboard, every gust of wind becomes evidence of the paranormal. It's the power of suggestion, and it's a powerful thing. Think about it. If you were told a house was haunted, wouldn't you be more likely to interpret every weird sound or cold spot as a sign of ghostly activity? It's like that time Ryan swore he saw a ghost in that abandoned asylum. Turns out it was just a plastic bag blowing in the wind. He was so embarrassed he made me delete the footage. But the Amityville Horror isn't just about ghosts and ghouls, it's also about the very real horrors that humans are capable of inflicting upon each other. Let's not forget that before it was a haunted house, it was the scene of a horrific crime. 6 people lost their lives that night, and that tragedy casts a long shadow over the whole story. It's easy to get caught up in the paranormal aspects, but it's important to remember the human cost. And that's something we'll be exploring throughout this series, the intersection of the paranormal and the all-too-real darkness that exists within humanity. We're not just here to tell ghost stories, we're here to uncover the truth, no matter how unsettling it may be. So, there you have it, the Amityville Horror. A chilling tale of murder, mayhem, and maybe, just maybe, a demonic pig named Jody. But we've only just scratched the surface of this ghostly world. Up next, we're heading down south to Tennessee to investigate the legend of the Bell Witch, a spirit so vengeful, so malevolent that it's said to have driven a man to his death. Now that's a story you don't want to miss. So stick around if you dare. All right, ghost enthusiasts, let's trade in the suburban chills of Amityville for the humid, shadowy world of Adams, Tennessee. We're talking about the Bell Witch, a story steeped in Southern Gothic tradition and shrouded in mystery. This isn't your average boo, I'm a ghost type of haunting. The Bell Witch was a full-on tormentor, a malevolent entity that plagued the Bell family for years. Imagine a supernatural bully that can also move objects with its mind and whisper secrets in your ear. The legend goes that this entity, often referred to as Kate, tormented John Bell, the patriarch of the family, with physical assaults, strange noises, and even conversations. Apparently this ghost had a lot to say, and the cherry on top of this spooky Sunday, the entity reportedly even had a hand in John Bell's death. Now that's what I call a grudge. Now, the Bell Witch story has been around for centuries, passed down through generations like a well-worn family quilt. It's been the subject of countless books, movies, and even a play or two. But as with any good ghost story, separating fact from fiction is like trying to pick out Ryan's coherent thoughts after a strong cup of coffee. It's nearly impossible. Some historians believe the whole thing was a hoax, possibly started by a disgruntled neighbour with a flair for the dramatic and a bone to pick with John Bell. I mean, haven't we all had that neighbour who blasts polka music at 3 a.m? Maybe this was just their way of getting back. Others believe that the Bell family might have been experiencing something called mass hysteria, a psychological phenomenon where a group of people start exhibiting similar symptoms, often in response to stress or fear. Think of it like the Salem witch trials, but with less witch dunking and more ghostly whispering. But here's the thing about the Bell Witch. Regardless of whether it was real or not, its legend has had a lasting impact on the town of Adams, Tennessee. To this day, people from all over the world flock to the Bell Witch Cave, hoping to catch a glimpse of the spectral tormentor, or maybe just score some cool ghost hunting footage for their YouTube channel. The legend has become a part of the town's identity, a source of both local pride and spooky tourism dollars. It's like that friend who tells embarrassing stories about you in college, except these stories involve a malevolent spirit and possibly a few curses. And who knows, maybe there's some truth to the legend. Maybe, just maybe, the spirit of the Bell Witch still lingers in those Tennessee hills, waiting to whisper secrets to unsuspecting visitors. But their Bell Witch story also highlights something else, the power of fear itself. For years, the Bell family lived in terror, convinced that a malevolent entity was out to get them. Whether it was real or not, that fear had a real impact on their lives. It's a reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we create in our own minds. Think about it. How many times have you been paralyzed by fear, convinced that something bad was going to happen, only to realize later that you were worrying over nothing? It's like that time Ryan swore he saw a ghost in the mirror. Turned out it was just his reflection. He still hasn't lived that one down. So there you have it, The Bell Witch, a tale of Southern Gothic horror, family drama, and maybe, just maybe, a really chatty ghost. But our journey into the heart of darkness doesn't end there. Next up, we're crossing the pond to England to investigate the legend of the Brown Lady of Rainham Hall, a ghostly apparition so iconic, her image was even captured in a photograph. Now, if that's not a cliffhanger, I don't know what is. Stay tuned. All right, buckle up, because we're heading across the pond to jolly old England. Rainham Hall, this grand old manor house, has stood for centuries, witnessing history, both majestic and macabre. And trust me, this place has seen some things. Built in the 1600s, it's like the Downton Abbey of haunted houses. We're talking sprawling estates, opulent decor, and enough family drama to make even the most scandalous reality show blush. But behind the fancy facade lurks a chilling tale. This isn't your run-of-the-mill creaky floorboards and flickering lights haunting. We're talking about a full-on spectral resident, a ghost so infamous she's earned herself a spooky nickname, the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. And let me tell you, this ain't no Casper the Friendly Ghost situation. This apparition is the real deal, or so the story goes. Now, you can't have a good ghost story without a tragic backstory, and let me tell you, the Brown Lady's tale is one for the books. Legend has it she was Lady Dorothy Walpole, sister of the first British Prime Minister, Robert Walpole. Imagine being trapped in a loveless marriage, stuck in a giant echoing house. That's Dorothy's life, right? Now, throw in rumours of an affair and a vengeful husband who imprisons her within the walls of Raynham Hall. Talk about a recipe for a haunting. Some say she died of smallpox, others whisper of a broken heart. Whatever the cause, Dorothy's spirit found no peace. She became tethered to the grand estate, forever roaming the halls in a brown brocade gown. Hence the name, you know, the Brown Lady. Now you're probably thinking, Shane, come on, this is just a bunch of spooky stories passed down through generations, and you'd be right if it weren't for one chilling piece of evidence, a photograph. In 1936, two photographers from Country Life magazine were doing a shoot at Raynham Hall. They were setting up to capture the elegance of the main staircase, completely unaware of the spectral surprise awaiting them. As the story goes, one photographer saw a figure descending the stairs, draped in a flowing gown, her face obscured by shadow. They snapped the photo and bam! There she was, the Brown Lady, caught on film for the first time. This wasn't some blurry, easily dismissed image. This was a clear, undeniable picture of something unexplained standing on those stairs. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. The photo caused a sensation, making headlines around the world and cementing the Brown Lady's legend in paranormal history. Skeptics, of course, lined up to debunk it. They claimed it was a double exposure, a trick of the light, maybe even a hoax. Some pointed to potential signs of tampering with the photographic negative. Others argued that the figure was simply a person in a costume, caught unaware by the photographers. But here's the thing. No one could definitively disprove the authenticity of the photo. The photographers, reputable professionals in their field, swore they hadn't tampered with the image. The mystery remained, and the photo became one of the most compelling pieces of evidence in the world of paranormal investigation. So, what's the truth behind the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall? Is she a restless spirit forever bound to the halls of the grand estate? Or is she a product of our collective fascination with the unknown? A ghost story given life by a blurry image and a whole lot of imagination? The debate rages on, with believers and skeptics locked in a perpetual tug of war. But one thing's for sure, the legend of the Brown Lady, whether rooted in fact or fiction, continues to captivate and chill us to this day. It's a reminder that some mysteries, like the ghosts they embody, may never be truly solved. And hey, isn't that what makes a good ghost story so damn entertaining? All right, buckle up, because we're heading down south to St. Francisville, Louisiana, to a place dripping with more spooky lore than a haunted hot tub party, the Myrtles Plantation. Built in 1796, this former indigo plantation has seen some things, man. I'm talking about duels, murders, maybe even some good old-fashioned voodoo. The place is practically bursting at the seams with ghost stories. You've got the ghost of a former slave named Chloe, who legend has it poisoned a birthday cake. Why? Well, the theories are juicier than a gossip magazine at a slumber party. Some say it was revenge. Others whisper about a love triangle gone wrong. Whatever the reason, Chloe's ghost is said to still roam the halls, maybe looking for a taste of justice. Or maybe just a decent slice of cake. And that's just the tip of the spectral iceberg, folks. There are tales of children who died tragically, their laughter echoing through the halls, and rumors of a heartbroken plantation owner still searching for his lost love. The Myrtles plantation is like a ghost story sampler platter, and trust me, you're going to want to try every bite. So grab your EMF readers and your skepticism, because we're about to dive headfirst into the murky, magnolia-scented waters of the Myrtles plantation. One of the most famous features of the Myrtles, and a favorite haunt for ghost hunters, is a particular mirror. Now, I don't know about you, but mirrors in haunted places just scream bad news. It's like they're portals to another dimension, or maybe just really good at reflecting your worst fears back at you. This mirror, though, is said to hold the spirits of Sarah Woodruff and her 2 daughters. Legend has it they were poisoned, and their souls, unable to find peace, became trapped within the glass. Visitors claim to see handprints on the mirror, shadowy figures lurking in the reflection, and some even say the furniture in the room moves around on its own. Now, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm also not saying I'd be caught dead, no pun intended, hanging out in that room alone at night. I mean, who needs that kind of stress in their life? I've got enough anxiety just trying to keep my houseplant alive. Still, the stories surrounding the mirror are undeniably creepy. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's something unsettling about staring into a reflective surface and feeling like someone or something is staring back. As if a haunted mirror wasn't enough, the Myrtles plantation also boasts a whole host of other creepy occurrences. We're talking disembodied voices whispering in the dead of night, footsteps echoing down empty hallways, and objects moving around like they're possessed by a particularly mischievous poltergeist. Guests and staff alike have reported feeling cold spots, sudden drops in temperature that send shivers down your spine even on the hottest Louisiana day. Some even claim to have been touched or even pushed by unseen hands. Now, I'm a pretty skeptical guy, but even I have to admit that's pretty freaky. One story tells of a former owner who was shot on the porch and, according to legend, died right on the 17th step leading into the house. To this day, people claim to hear his dying footsteps echoing on the porch, counting out those final, fateful steps. Perhaps the most well-known ghost story associated with the Myrtles plantation is that of Chloe, a slave who allegedly worked in the house. As the story goes, Chloe was caught eavesdropping on one of the plantation owner's private conversations. Now, whether this was out of curiosity or necessity, we may never know. But the punishment, as was often the case in those brutal times, was swift and cruel. Chloe's ear was cut off, a brutal act meant to humiliate and silence her. Forced to wear a green turban to hide her disfigurement, Chloe was said to be consumed by anger and a thirst for revenge, and that's where the story takes a dark turn. Legend has it that Chloe decided to get her revenge by baking a poisoned birthday cake for the plantation owner's family. The plan, however, went awry. 2 of the children ate the cake and died, while Chloe herself was accused and, according to some versions of the story, hanged by her fellow slaves. Now, like any good ghost story, the tale of Chloe and the poisoned cake is shrouded in mystery and speculation. Some historians argue that there's no evidence to support Chloe's existence, and that the story is nothing more than a fabricated legend designed to attract tourists. Others claim that while Chloe may have been a real person, the details of her story have been exaggerated and sensationalized over time. The truth, as is often the case, likely lies somewhere in the murky middle ground. Regardless of its veracity, Chloe's story has become synonymous with the Myrtles plantation, a chilling reminder of the dark history of slavery and the enduring power of a good ghost story. Whether she was a real person or a figment of our collective imagination, Chloe's presence continues to haunt the Myrtles, a spectral embodiment of the pain and injustice that permeate the plantation's past. All right, folks, get ready to enter a labyrinth of Victorian oddities and architectural enigmas, because we're heading to San Jose, California to explore the endlessly fascinating Winchester Mystery House. This sprawling mansion, with its turrets, towers, and enough staircases to make your head spin, is less of a house and more of a testament to one woman's eccentric grief. Sarah Winchester, the widow of Winchester Repeating Arms Company magnate William Winchester, was a woman haunted not by ghosts but by guilt. Convinced that her family was cursed by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles, Sarah embarked on a bizarre and seemingly never-ending construction project. For 38 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, hammers pounded and saws buzzed as Sarah, guided by what she claimed were messages from spirits, ordered constant additions and renovations to her home. The result, a 160-room Victorian mansion that's as confusing as it is captivating. So grab your compasses and your sense of adventure, because we're about to get lost in the labyrinthine halls of the Winchester Mystery House. One of the most striking features of the Winchester Mystery House is its abundance of staircases. I'm talking staircases that lead to ceilings, staircases that double back on themselves, and staircases so narrow you practically have to walk sideways. Now, some people might say it's just bad design, but where's the fun in that? The prevailing theory, at least among those who believe in the supernatural, is that Sarah designed these staircases to confuse the spirits. You know, kind of like an architectural game of hide and seek with the undead. Whether it was intentional or not, the staircases definitely add to the house's eerie atmosphere. Imagine walking down a dimly lit hallway, turning a corner, and finding yourself face to face with a staircase that leads straight into a wall. It's enough to make you question your sanity, or at least your sense of direction. And it's not just the staircases that are out of whack in this house. Oh no, the doors are just as bizarre. We're talking doors that open to brick walls, doors that lead to sudden drops, and even a door that opens to absolutely nothing but thin air. It's like Sarah Winchester took the phrase, "When one door closes, another one opens," a little too literally. Maybe she thought the ghosts were too stupid to figure out doorknobs, or maybe she just had a really twisted sense of humor. Whatever the reason, the doors are just another example of the strange and unsettling details that make the Winchester Mystery House so fascinating. It's like stepping into a fever dream where logic and reason have been left at the door, or should I say, the door that leads to a brick wall. Beyond the architectural oddities, the Winchester Mystery House is also known for its strange and unexplained sounds. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps echoing through empty halls, and even the faint strains of music, as if a phantom orchestra were tuning up for a spectral symphony. Some believe these sounds are the echoes of the house's tragic past, the whispers of those who died during the construction, or the lingering presence of Sarah Winchester herself. Others chalk it up to the house settling, old pipes groaning, or simply the power of suggestion. Whatever the explanation, there's no denying that the Winchester Mystery House is a place that gets under your skin. It's a house that seems to hum with a strange energy, a place where the veil between the living and the dead feels just a little bit thinner. So was Sarah Winchester, a grieving widow seeking solace in architectural whimsy, or was she truly haunted by the spirits of those killed by her family's rifles? The answer, like most things in life, is probably a little bit of both. What's undeniable is that the Winchester Mystery House remains one of the most intriguing and baffling architectural marvels in the world. It's a testament to the power of grief, the allure of the unknown, and the enduring human fascination with the possibility of life after death. Whether you believe in ghosts or simply appreciate a good architectural mystery, the Winchester Mystery House is a place that will stay with you long after you've left its labyrinthine halls. It's a reminder that sometimes the most fascinating stories are the ones we can't quite explain. Well, folks, there you have it. Another week, another descent into the shadowy depths of the paranormal. We've explored haunted houses, unearthed sinister histories, and maybe, just maybe, encountered a ghost or two along the way. Thank you for joining us on this spine-chilling journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more eerie explorations. Until next time, stay curious and stay spooky.